I'm Aaron Rutten, and these are the 3 new brushes I created for Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Fresco in December of 2019. So let's go ahead and take a look at how to use these brushes. I'm going to demonstrate starting in Photoshop, and then I'll move over to Adobe Fresco to show you how they work in that application as well. These brushes should look pretty much the same in both applications. All 3 of these brushes are found in my Nature category. Let's start with Big Snow AR. I'm painting on top of this blue-gray background, and I'm painting on a separate layer. I'm going to choose a light, almost white blue color. And what I want to do is just kind of pull down strokes, and I can make these big snowflakes. So if I wanted it to look like it's snowing in a photograph or a painting, this is a great way to do that. And you get all this different depth and dimension to the snowflakes so they don't all look like they're the same shape and size. Some of them look like they're farther back, some of them look like they're closer. Of course, if you wanted to, you could increase your brush size, and you could get larger flakes as well. These are in the foreground. The next brush is called Frost. If I paint with Frost and I kind of build it up on itself, you can see I get this really nice frosty texture. So for example, I could make a selection. Let's say this is a big chunk of ice here. And if I paint over it with kind of a light bluish color like this, go ahead and draw another selection over it to help this look kind of polygonal. And I'll paint into that with an almost white color. Control D to deselect, and now we have this chunk of ice or frost. If you want to change the size of the frost, you can make the brush larger or smaller. Making the brush smaller will give you smaller, finer frost. Making the brush larger will give you larger, chunkier frost. And the third and final brush that we'll look at is called Scaly. And you can kind of see in the shape of the dab the scale pattern that you're going to get, so you'll want to size your brush appropriately. You can just kind of tap like this to create a nice scaly pattern. The trick here is once you make a dab, try to have the edge of that dab line up with the next dab. That way you're not overlapping them too much, because otherwise if you overlap the pattern too much, it gets kind of convoluted. And here's a demonstration of those 3 brushes in Adobe Fresco. You can see that Big Snow works just like it does in Photoshop. I'm going to switch to Frost. Do a little bit of painting with Frost to get that nice frosty texture. And then the third brush is Scaly. I can go ahead and paint with that. I may want to scale that up, no pun intended. And I can get that nice scaly texture here in Adobe Fresco as well. So there you go. Those are the 3 new brushes I created for Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Fresco. If you're interested in learning more about my custom brushes, check out some more of my brush demos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.